Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In our last video, we were discussing the importance of ikhlas, of sincerity. In this video, we want to elaborate further on this central aspect of all our actions, which is sincerity. There's a saying that all people are destroyed except those who have knowledge, because you need knowledge to know Allah and to know how to worship Him. But all people of knowledge are destroyed except those who practice. So you could have knowledge, but if you don't practice what you know, then it won't benefit you. And then all people who perform actions, they're destroyed except those who are sincere. You could do the actions, but if you're not sincere, you'll not be accepted. And this idea of sincerity is so important that the idea of doing doing actions for other than the sake of Allah, has been referred to as shirk al-asghar, the minor form of shirk. That's how dangerous it is not to have sincerity. That the Prophet ﷺ told Abu Bakr one time, "O Abu Bakr, shirk enters your people more quietly than the movement of ants." And Abu Bakr asked, "Is there a kind of shirk besides associating anything with Allah?" And the Prophet ﷺ said, "By one in whose hand is my soul, there is shirk more hidden than the crawling of an ant. Shall I not tell you something to rid you of it, both minor and major?" And then he told them this dua, and it's a dua that we should memorize and say, which is Allahumma inni a'udhu bika an ushrika bika wa ana a'lamu astaghfiruka lima la a'lamu. That, oh Allah, I seek refuge in you, lest I associate anything with you while I know it, and I seek your forgiveness from what I do not know. So this is a dua that we should say, and it will help protect our sincerity. Also, another important tip in terms of how to develop sincerity is, if you do a good deed, initially your intention is good, and then your intention gets corrupted, you start doing it for other than Allah, don't stop the deed, but continue the deed, but fix your intention, rectify your intention, and recognize that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can harm and benefit. So why would you do things for other people when they can't harm and benefit you to begin with? When you understand that all power is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you won't waste your time doing things for other people. And also in our times, one of the sicknesses of our time, one of the diseases of our time, is people like to boast about their lives on social media. They constantly want to show off what they're doing on social media. And this is really, it's a sickness of our age, that we shouldn't waste our time showing others what we're doing. Now, the exception here is if you're doing it to encourage others to do good deeds. But even then, you have to think, can I encourage others without showing off my deeds? And if you can, then you should do it that way. So this is something that you need to be conscious of. And a very important thing is, we need to increase our private good deeds, because those deeds where nobody that sees us and is aware that we're doing, this will help develop ikhlas. To give you an example, when you look at the 7 people who will be under the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, amongst those are those people who did deeds secretly, such as the person who did charity so much so that his one hand didn't know it from the other, the one who remembered Allah while he was in his privacy, and that caused him to cry. These are secret deeds. So increase your private deeds. Regularly recite Quran in your house. Perform tahajjud. Pray to Allah in the darkness of the night and ask Allah to grant you sincerity. And make frequent dhikr. Remember Allah frequently. And in particular, make istighfar. And people often associate istighfar after you do a sin, but make istighfar after you do a good deed as well. Because that good deed will be deficient. We can never, the blessings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us, our deeds will never match up to that. And those deeds that we do, they always have some deficiency in them. So we make istighfar even after whatever deed we do. So these are some tips on how to develop ikhlas. In our next video, we'll be discussing the next quality, which is important for spiritual health, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.